All right, welcome to the first ever college football Pick'em Pod with Drew and Joe. We're just going to basically talk about college football once a week, the landscape of the sport, make our picks, just some good fun. You ready, Joe?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so how excited are you that not just the Big Ten's back, but just everyone's back now?
Well, speak on the Big Ten. As soon as I found out they were back, I may or may not have screamed in my bedroom.
Sounds like something you'd do, to be fair.
Yeah.
And like, not only that, last week actually kind of felt like football was back. The SEC made it
for the first time, yeah.
There were some good games, upsets, things like that.
Fans.
Yeah, fans. Like, it had a college football feel. Didn't feel perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
Well, it was the same thing with the watching the Browns last week too. It actually felt like a game. We can talk about baseball real quick. That it's felt kind of strange.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel like
a playoff game.
It doesn't feel like October baseball.
No, the thing about October baseball is the fans are just different in those games. Every strike, it's a cheer, like things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt wrong. I mean, it doesn't count. That season didn't count. It didn't matter. It's fake.
No.
Officially now, from yesterday on, it didn't count. It didn't mean anything. It was pointless.
No.
All right, but that's enough baseball. No reason to get frustrated over that. Let's get into the games. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a pick straight up, and then we're going to take something else in the game, just like the spread or the over-under, anything like that. First game, South Carolina versus Florida. What you feeling about that one, Joe?
Straight up Florida. I mean, their defense is terrible, and they have no run game, but Kyle Pitts is probably the best tight end in college football, and Kyle Trask played really, really efficiently. And Dan Mullen's system finally looks like it's really, really working. Because you remember watching like the Jim McElwain and Will Muschamp era, the offense was always anemic, awful.
Yeah,
they were like LSU except they were in the East. Yeah, I got Florida, and I'll take the points with Florida rather than the over/under. I think.
Yeah. Do you
think Carolina? I think South Carolina's defense will probably keep them under 50.
Yeah, I don't like the over/under in that game. I'm gonna also go with you on Florida straight and with the points. Mm-hmm. Well, do you think you could see Kyle Trask playing on Sunday, like effectively?
He's not particularly mobile, which in today's NFL is going to be a disadvantage. Also, not sure how great he is throwing outside the numbers yet. Right now, he has some great skill talent around him. It's not a knock on him or anything, but his release is also a little bit long. Given how he plays this year, he could get himself into that discussion. Yeah. So, I'm not writing him off or anything.
All right. Well, I think we're basically on the same page for that game. Next one. TCU versus Texas. Texas is 12-point favorites, over under 62.5. What you feeling?
Taking Texas, and I'll take the over because it's the Big 12 and they don't play defense there.
Yeah, I like the over in that just because it's 62.5. If it was 63, I'd probably be like, I'd stay away from it. But now that it's 62, it's that half a point. It's just like, oh well, it's an even football score then.
And Sam Ehlinger is horrifically overrated.
But they score. They can score.
They score, but he's a good quarterback. He's not elite.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He has Jake Fromm syndrome.
I think he's a little better.
I think in terms of just how good a quarterback is, period, I think it's kind of a push.
Yeah. So who you like in that game for the spread?
I'll take TCU, actually. Defense always comes to play for Gary Patterson, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go away from that. I'm actually going Texas -12. That's one of my favorite picks this week. I think they didn't play as well as they can in Texas Tech. I don't think they're good, but I think they're better than what they played.
Their defense, they only blitzed on like 8 plays or something. That's not a winning formula for their defense at all. that's a Chris Ash thing. It was at Ohio State too, where you're only bringing 4 guys on most snaps playing base the entire time.
I don't think TCU is good.
No, they're terrible.
That's why I just like Texas in that. I think TCU is horrible, and I think Texas is okay.
Yeah, they're awful.
No, not that they're good. It's just they're better than a crappy TCU team. All right, next one. I think it's not actually the game of the week, but it's A&M versus Bama. Both undefeated. Bama is 17.5-point favorites in this one. Over under 52.5. What's your thoughts on that game?
Taking Alabama straight up, obviously. Like Texas A&M is still, if this was a 12-game season, I still think they're 4 losses because they always are. Jimbo Fisher is a good head coach, but culture there isn't great. I think Kellen Mond sucks. It's rather than I'll take. I don't hate Kellen Mond. Actually,
you're taking the points.
Yeah, I'll take the points
for A&M.
No, I'm taking the Bama spread.
All right. Well, I don't like the over/under in that one because I don't think Bama's that great this year. I don't think Mac Jones is going to score enough for him. I think A&M is going to keep this close.
I think the defense for Bama is a lot better than it was last year. They have people healthy. Pat Surtain and Jordan Battle are both elite in the secondary. Dylan Moses played really well. And the defense, last year it never looked quite right. This year, watching the game last week, they looked disruptive, looks fast. And you have a bunch of guys that aren't afraid to take heads off either.
They were also playing Missouri.
Well, that's true, but, we saw a defensive improvement when Ohio State played Cincinnati last year.
Yeah, that is true. I really like this A&M team, though. I usually don't buy into the A&M hype. I'm doing it. I'm going to be a fool. I'm going to be dumb. I'm going to use my dumb football guy brain. 17.5 is too much for a 13th ranked team. I'm using my dumb football brain here. This is my football guy brain that 17.5 points is way too much. Staying away. I think Texas A&M almost wins this game. I think it's going to be really close.
It's like betting on the Browns or the Jets.
No, I don't know. I'm just using the dumb football brain here. All right, next game. Number 12, UNC versus Boston College. And this is another one where I really like Boston College.
This is my upset alert game, but I think UNC probably wins. I think they're the smart pick straight up, but I think Boston College will keep it within the spread.
I really like the under in that game too. Boston College is going to run the ball like crazy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of time's going to just be like wasted throughout that game.
And let's be honest here. Jeff Hafley's a wizard, and he's going to keep it under 54.5 spread unless his offense goes insane.
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening, and I don't think UNC's that good. No. Sam Howell's wildly overrated.
I think Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell,
but he's not a Heisman.
Not yet, no.
That's the hype he's getting, though, and I don't like that.
We'll have to see how he plays against Clemson and those teams. Well, really, just Clemson, but we'll just have to see. Dude, you watch him; he's clearly talented, and just hasn't all come together yet, and that could be the shortened camp and everything. So we'll just have to wait and see.
But I think Boston College is going to win this one. I think they're going to win it straight up. I'm going to take Boston College straight up in this one. You're taking UNC straight up still?
UNC straight up still, but Boston College covering.
All right. Next up, I think it's going to be a really fun game. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Both 0-1. Both looked okay, not good. Now they're facing this is like their same team kind of type, like same but completely different. Ole Miss is going to score like crazy. UK is just not. I'm liking Kentucky. Where are you leaning?
Taking the Fighting Lane Kiffins. If nothing else, because it's fun.
That's why I want to take Ole Miss, especially with +6. But I think Kentucky's just good. I'm going to say it. I think Kentucky's good.
You watched the game last weekend?
Yeah, I know. I still think Kentucky's good. Bad
I,
matchup.
I wouldn't use that word.
Who'd they play last week? Which ranked team? It was Auburn.
Yeah,
I think Auburn's okay.
I think Auburn's awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like over 61.5. That's for sure.
That's not going to happen. I mean, it could.
That would be Lane Kiffin scoring 40.
Yeah, and he was on his way to doing that against Florida.
Yeah.
A few more things go his way. Also, we need to talk about Matt Corral's hair.
What's wrong with his hair?
You'll have to go see it for yourself.
Is that just bad?
Yeah.
I just like that he caught a pass.
Well,
Big fan of when QBs do other things.
Philly special.
Yeah. All right, next game, we got rivalry. We got 1-1 Navy versus Air Force. Navy, no disrespect to the troops, they suck. They are horrible. They are really bad this year. Air Force is a 7-point underdog. Give me Air Force. I don't even know if this Air Force team is. I know nothing about this Air Force team. I know Navy's really bad, though.
I'm taking Navy because Air Force is always the basement dweller of the service academies.
Not in football.
And usually, yeah.
They've been like 9-3, like pretty consistently, like 8-4 type team.
In the Mountain West.
Yeah, okay. Navy plays in the American. Army doesn't play in anything.
And they always play big boy teams and play them tight.
Yeah, they just lost.
So you remember the Keenan Reynolds era?
This is not your mother's Navy team. This is a horrible Navy team that lost by like 1,000,000 points to BYU.
No, they're awful, but I think Air Force is also awful.
I think Air Force is slightly less awful. You're giving me points. I'll go under 47 too.
Always under with these teams.
Yeah. I think that could be
when they're playing each other.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take let's see, what's two random really low scoring number? I think a 12-11 game. I don't know how they get to 12-11, but I can see them getting to 12-11.
Well, each team is going to hold the ball for 30 minutes.
Yeah, but then I see a missed extra point, a safety, at least one safety. It's just a bunch of dumb things happen in that game.
Well, let's take out a few prop bets. If my parlay hit for the Monday night game, it would have been up 50 G's, but it's not legal in Ohio. My VPN wouldn't work.
Oh, man. Jeez Louise. All right. Next one. We got number 25 Memphis versus 3-0 SMU. Who do you like in this one?
Memphis.
Really?
Yep.
Memphis is 1.5 point favorites, over under 74.5.
Brady White, I'm taking the points.
Really? No, I'm liking Shane Buechele.
I love Shane Buechele, but I like Brady White more.
I'm going to go Shane Buechele, and there's something like in my brain where I see over 74.5 that I'm like, there's no way points get that high. So I'm taking the over because they know something that I don't.
I'm taking the over as well.
No field goal in this game.
I love the Elite 11 guys.
Oh yeah.
Always.
I think it's gonna be a lot of passing, barely any runs. It's going to be a long game because there's going to be so much like time.
No, it's going to be a nightmare to watch if you're a fan of either team.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna think someone's gonna take a 2-score lead, then a pick, and then a touchdown, and you're like, oh, what? It's a tie game. Like
it's gonna be exhausting.
It's gonna be fun. That's the most fun game to watch this week. Because Memphis and SMU aren't bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
They can compete with big name programs. Not the best of the best of like the SEC, Big Ten, or anything like that. But like, if either one of those teams were to face Wisconsin this year, I think they give them a good game. That type of team.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Next game. We got number 18 Oklahoma, 1-1. Terrible game last week versus Iowa State, who's also 1-1. Rattler or Purdy? Who do you like in this one?
I mean, I like Purdy. Rattler's not the truth yet.
No.
He didn't complete a ball outside the hashes last weekend.
He looked bad and he looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, his O-line played terrible. My God, His left tackle was terrible. God. And they have no running back.
Their team looked bad. I don't think Oklahoma's good this year. I think they're not very good.
Before the season started, I changed my pick to Oklahoma State.
To win?
In the Big 12, yeah. Now, they haven't looked good either, but they haven't lost yet.
Yeah, they look really bad though. They can't score.
Yeah.
I thought Chuba Hubbard and Sanders would be a lot better there.
That's what kind of threw everybody. But Oklahoma looks awful. The offensive line is terrible. Defense, was going to be talked about, but they're actually improving,
which is sad.
Compared to where Alex Grinch found them, they have improved. But the offense, my God,
bad.
It looked. What happened to Lincoln Riley?
I think it's more of what he has than what they are.
But that's on him.
He really needed that true off season and summer camps, everything like that.
Oh yeah,
they look rough.
Well, what he needed was for Trey Sermon to not transfer.
Yeah, that would have been big for them to have something to lean on in the run. Now they just have nothing there.
Yeah, they don't have a run game. The receivers played terrible. Both tight ends played well.
I don't know.
But the receivers are terrible. Theo Wease look awful.
They don't look as fast either.
This isn't the Hollywood Brown receivers or the CeeDee Lamb. Both of those guys are gone.
The right tempo they felt the whole game. They looked sluggish.
Yeah, and they don't have. I think the best receivers in the country reside with Alabama, Florida, and Ohio State this year. They're by far the most talented on the perimeter.
Auburn's receivers looked pretty good last week too.
I thought Auburn's offense looked pretty anemic.
I don't know.
That's the next game.
Yep.
But we gotta settle.
We gotta make picks still for this one.
Yeah.
Who are you taking straight up, Oklahoma or Iowa State?
Oklahoma still straight up.
I'm gonna take Oklahoma and the points. Stay away from the over/under.
I'll take points. Yeah.
I like -7. I think this is one of those games that if you don't cover, if you're Oklahoma, it's pathetic.
They're getting there.
They need to look good. And lastly, we got the game of the week. Number 7, Auburn versus number 4, Georgia. Georgia is 7-point favorites. Over under 44.5, pretty low. What are we thinking here?
I think both teams are monstrously overrated.
I think one's even more overrated than the other.
I know you're going to say Georgia.
Georgia's not that good.
Georgia's defense is still better than Auburn's offense, though.
Yes. Okay. I'm not sure about that Auburn offense. I think Georgia's defense is good. I think their offense is pathetic.
I think we'll see how JT Daniels plays.
But I also don't think Auburn's defense is that bad.
I think Auburn's defense is good. It's not what it was, when you had the guys that Gus Malzahn had when I went to the national championship game at all. I don't think it's that. I think their defense is probably closer to Alabama's than it is Georgia's. I think Georgia probably has the best returning defense.
But I think Georgia's offense is too much to make up for.
But I think Bo Nix is terrible too.
But he's got good receivers. He can just throw it up.
George Pickens is probably, the third best receiver in the SEC.
I don't know. I like Georgia. I like Auburn. I like them straight up. Not even. I'd take the +7. Don't get me wrong.
I'm taking Georgia straight up, and I'm also taking them with the +7. Or -7. Sorry, I think Georgia.
I also like the over.
I don't love the over.
You love it?
I don't love the over.
I don't love it either, but I would still take it, I think. Over 44.5. Luck into some points. I think maybe a special team score to help it out, something like that. Maybe a defensive score. I think Auburn wins close. But I think neither of them can beat Bama or Florida.
Oh, God, no.
They're the step down. All right. So that's all of our picks for this week. Got to get into your least favorite topic now. You didn't even want to do it. Top 10s.
I hate the top 10.
All
so
right.
Useless.
So since you didn't want to do one, just rate my top 10 then. Sound good? All right.
Okay.
You're going to hate this. Clemson number 1.
I'd flip those two.
Clemson 1, Ohio State 2. I think it's them and then everyone else. I think Florida's number 3. I think Florida's the best in the SEC this year.
I'd still put Alabama ahead of Florida.
I got Bama at 4, right behind them. Bama can still beat Florida, but I think Florida's offense is just pretty great this year. Next, I've got, this is where I hate it. I hated every selection I wanted to make after this. I almost went and put Miami here, but I don't think Miami's that good. I just think they almost deserve to be up higher. But
I put them up higher just because they deserve it, I guess.
I'm going Auburn 5, Georgia 6. I think Auburn's better, and I think they'll prove it this week. Don't think Georgia's great. 7 Notre Dame, I hate them. I hate putting them there. They're not good.
No,
Their offense is bad.
Ian Book is terrible.
Ian Book is horrible.
Awful.
And the defense is better than the normal Notre Dame defense, I guess. So I have them at 7.
Ian Book looks like Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't think
That was good.
They're not outscoring anyone. That's good, at least. Number 8, Miami. I think Miami's. I really like De'Aaron King. I don't think the rest of the team carry them.
Oh, Brevin Jordan's really good.
Yeah.
Bubba Bolden had a good game too.
Their receivers. Who's their tight end?
Brevin Jordan.
Yeah, him. He's a freak.
Yeah, he's probably the second best tight end in the country.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete. So then after Miami, I got Penn State, number 9. Losing Micah Parsons is really tough for them.
Oh yeah,
the D-line can't get the same push anymore.
Oh God, no! I think they're 2 losses.
Yeah, us and then just whoever else you want to pick from the Big Ten that could accidentally beat them. And then number 10, simply because I love him, Mississippi State.
Well, who doesn't love Mike Leach?
Mike Leach is awesome. That was so much. He's so much fun.
He'll never get a big job, and that's a mistake.
He literally took Washington State's offense and put it in Mississippi State. He said, we're going to score 300 points.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give up 300 points. But no SEC team's ready for that.
He just doesn't care.
He doesn't. Like KJ Costello, who I think's actually pretty decent, not great. He made him look very good.
Oh, yeah.
Some turnovers, which you can clean up. They can score.
I also, we're not going to get too far ahead of myself. I thought LSU was a 4-loss team.
Yeah, LSU's really bad.
Jamar Chase opting out told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah, he trust me, if Miles Brennan for the offense is as good as the Joe Brady, Joe Burrow offense, he would have said.
Yeah.
They're not.
I don't think Miles Brennan's very good. I think his stats look okay because he was facing Mississippi State.
And here's the thing, too. Everybody loves Ed Orgeron. We all love Coach O.
Yeah.
Coach O is Gene Chizik.
He's not good.
He's not a good head coach.
He fires you up, though.
Yeah, he's a guy you'd want to play for, but I think he's Gene Chizik at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be penthouse to outhouse pretty quickly.
I don't know. He might have like a lifetime contract at LSU. He literally looks like they created him in the lab for an LSU coach.
He looks like an LSU football coach.
Yeah.
And Mad Hatter never looked like that.
He won a title. That buys you a lot of time.
Well, they gave Les Miles how many years too long? Like 6.
Yeah, so I think he'll be there for a long time. And he might luck into some great recruits and make him great again just because he has amazing players again. But it's going to be a bit. Like
last year was just such like the planets aligning in a certain way.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you ever see that from any team ever again.
No, they had
everything just going that perfect.
Yeah. And then just plucking a Joe Burrow in there too. Just everything.
Yeah, I mean,
great defense. Every spot in the field was basically elite.
Freaks at receiver.
Yeah. So that was but not happy. If now their LSU offense feels like the old LSU offense, where it's like you have like
Brandon Harris.
Yes. It feels
Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah, it feels like a Zach Mettenberger offense where Miles Brennan, like, he might be okay. He could throw it up to some really good guys, but he's not. He's not going to do it. Yeah, I don't think they have the run game either.
Joe Burrow looked like Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, definitely. So
LSU will lose to Alabama, Florida, and all of them.
Mm-hmm. Fun thing about that LSU Alabama game. Hopefully, I mean, for the sake of CBS's life, they're bad because the Masters and the Alabama LSU game will be going on at the same day, and it's scheduled at the same time. CBS can only take one of those games, and if they flex Alabama
ESPN's
LSU,
gonna get the other.
they have to give it to ABC.
Yeah, there's no way CBS is going to relinquish control of the Masters.
Yeah, so that game, I have no idea what it's going to be played on.
ABC.
That's tough. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money, and it's another example of COVID screwing everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got anything else for the show, Joe?
Should we do our CFP picks?
Yeah, that's last thing. All right, what you got? 1 through 4.
Do you want my champion?
No, let's hear your 4. Because I know your champion. It's Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ohio State, Clemson. I'm going kind of no particular order here.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and I was torn between 2 SEC teams or the Big 12 champion getting in because the Pac-12 sure as hell isn't getting anyone in. I think I'll probably toss Florida in there. I mean, I think that the 4th team this year is going to be a tomato can.
Yeah.
I think it's very top heavy.
Mm-hmm. But I think Florida can compete with all 3 of those teams you listed.
I don't know if I'd use the word compete. I think they could get into the game, but I think they're still 2 scores away from beating any of the top 3 I have.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Simply because I think their defense is the weakest out of all of them.
Yeah. I think everyone, if you're making your top 4, has to have Ohio State and Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
Those feel universal. I'm going to take Florida. And then I think then it comes down for 2 teams for me. You go Bama with 1. I think they'll have about 1 loss, maybe a second if whatever the conference championship works out that way.
Yeah.
And then I think since the SEC just is going to beat itself, Oregon has to go undefeated. And I think Oregon can go undefeated against a bad Pac-12.
They could. I mean,
you can't leave out an undefeated Power 5 program. That's my
look. I think Cristobal's probably the future head coach at Alabama once Saban retires, but I just can't justify putting a Pac-12 team in when I haven't seen it.
See, my thing with that Pac-12, I don't think any of them are as good, and I don't think they deserve to be in.
But if they're undefeated, they will.
Yeah, I think they go undefeated. Yeah. I don't think that any Pac-12 team can beat Oregon this year.
That's fine.
The Big 12 is just going to beat itself.
Yeah, that'll cannibalize itself, I think. These are picks that are all subject to change as the year goes on because we don't know enough right now. Mm-mm. Really, after the first 4 weeks is when you're able to tell because the first 4 weeks is just kind of it's letting you know how well training camp went.
Yeah, so I got a question then for you. Do you think a team like a UCF or Cincy could sneak in this year?
No.
They go undefeated?
No.
And they look dominant. Say UCF keeps dominating teams or Cincinnati keeps dominating teams?
No, because they didn't have a marquee game against a Power 5 school.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even harder this year than it would be.
I don't know. They just have them ranked decently high, at least to start the year.
Yeah.
Which makes
that doesn't matter anyway. I mean, the CFP is basically doing their own set of rankings anyway.
Yeah. So.
I think, say if it was in a year where Cincinnati played, say they played like UCLA again or USC, and they beat them handily, that would raise some eyebrows. But I don't see that right now.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I think that's everything we got then.
Wait, Heisman pick.
No, not doing it.
Not doing it?
I left that out because not every team's played. I can't make a Heisman pick. I guess right now with everyone that's played De'Aaron King, but without Justin Fields playing.
Okay, so just say, pretend no one's played so far, preseason pick, what would it be?
I mean, that just feels such like a homer pick going Justin Fields. But I did.
But he makes the most sense.
I said De'Aaron King at the start of the year. Like, I was watching football with my house, and I was like, man, this Miami team could shock a couple people. I think De'Aaron King is legit. KJ Costello now seems pretty wild. If they keep scoring like crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Unless they beat Alabama, he won't.
If they have one or two more marquee wins against big SEC programs, they face 10 of them this year. He could fall his way into it just based on stats.
Yeah, but even stats won't get him all the way there. I mean, we saw with Gardner Minshew and Mike Leach's offense didn't get it.
That's Pac-12. That's West Coast, East Coast bias. Now you're bringing the SEC into it. It's different.
All right. What about Graham Harrell in 2008?
I don't know. It's old. Before I cared about football. I think it's a little different with if a Mississippi State team can get to only 1 or 2 losses, then you have to put them in the conversation.
And I just feel like the landscape of college football has changed where you pretty much have to be in the playoff to get it unless you have a Lamar Jackson season.
Yeah. But I'm assuming you're saying Fields?
Yeah, I think he's the smart pick by far.
And I don't think any Clemson player is going to play enough to win a Heisman.
No, and I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to have any sort of Heisman moments unless, say, he has to pull something out of his ass against Miami, or UNC, which I don't see that happening either.
I think they blow out all those teams.
I honestly think I don't see any real tight game there.
All right. So that's everything we got for now. Thank you for watching our college football pick'em show. It'll be live Friday, Saturday, every week. Depends how lazy or not I am. So make sure you guys watch. It'll be on anywhere you can listen to podcasts and YouTube. So thanks again for watching. See you guys next time.